Let's go. Might be the first step towards a real Mau Mau in America. The beginning of a true Black revolution. So when you see people that's attacking all of these organizations that are working cohesively in different communities across the nation, you got to kind of look at that like, why? Right? This is what Moorish World TV was doing. Preventing. Okay, look at this. Let me go to goal 5. I don't want to bore you with all this reading, so I know not everybody's really into that. I know y'all came to hear Moorish World TV get. But check this out. Here's one of the goals right here. Prevent militant Black nationalist groups and leaders from gaining respectability by discrediting them to three separate it's kind of small, y'all, in the community. So the goal of discrediting these Black militant groups. So basically there's three different people, three different types of segments of the community that you have to discredit Black nationalists to. The first one would be what we would call the Negroes that are asleep, those who aren't really woke or conscious. That's how we would say it today. This was written in '67. The second group would be to discredit them to white people, both the liberals and conservative white people. The third group, according to COINTELPRO, that you have to discredit Black nationalist leaders from would be what we would now call the conscious community. Back then it said the radical Black community. That means that they have to discredit some of these groups and some of these leaders to those of us who are about that business. Those of us who are B1, make sure that you discredit Tariq Nasheed to the Black folks. Make sure you discredit Malik Zula Shabazz or these different organizations. That's part of the COINTEL. So at this point, does it really matter if this dude was getting a check? It doesn't, because the effect is the same. The idea is we're getting momentum, and this is like a cycle. Think about what happened in the 60s. We were getting codified. We were actually pushing. We were actually making progress. We were actually moving the needle. See, we didn't have all the distractions of social media. And back then, if you wanted to infiltrate an organization, or if you wanted to be a detractor, you couldn't just go on Twitter. You couldn't just go on YouTube and start making bullshit videos. You had to actually get down and dirty and infiltrate that organization, knowing that it could cost you your life. So what they did is they used tactics like that, but they also flooded drugs in the communities, right, to weaken. And then what else they do? After systematically locking up and murdering and breaking down our organizations and our leaders, they came out with blaxploitation films. So they took our goal and our focus from idolizing heroes and those who fought on our behalf, like the Malcolm X's and, you know, the dozens and dozens of others, to idolizing and worshiping drug dealers, prostitutes, number runners, distracted us from our goal after neutralizing the institutions that were pushing for us. Hold on, let me say, I hope that you are not trying to put Tariq Nasheed in any category but agent. No, I don't. Yeah, let's look at agent though. Like I said, like, look at what I'm saying. Look at what the actual paperwork says about what the goals of agents are. You can't put Tariq Nasheed in that. You don't have to like him. You could say he's egotistical. You could say he's an asshole. You could say he trolls. You could say he's petty. You could say all that. But you can't say that he hasn't been adding to the recipe of moving the needle to codification. You can't say that. You can't say like his actions are in line of those who are going against us. You can't say that. You just can't. Show me how. Because you can look at Taharka Bey, you can look at Moorish World TV. You can look at a lot of these cats and see exactly what they're doing. All they're doing is attacking our people. That's all. They're only undermining. They're doing exactly what the 5 goals of counterintelligence program is or was. That's what I'm saying. So you would have to show me how or why or what is being done that's going against our goals. What's being done by Tariq Nasheed? And I'm not here to apologize or stick up for Tariq Nasheed, but I'm just going to keep it real. You have to show me what about Tariq Nasheed would make you think that he's going against our people. Are you mad because he's getting money? Agent with white family, he hates blacks. That doesn't make you an agent, though. It just doesn't. I'm talking about actions. I don't care what somebody feels, what somebody thinks, who somebody sleeps with. What are the actions? But let me get back to what I was saying. See, that's distraction right there. So in the 60s, that's how they did it. They neutralized by locking up, killing, infiltrating, moving our focus from idolizing those who are actually putting in work for our community to those that were selling drugs, prostitution, running the bullshit. 90s, they did pretty much the same thing, because in the 90s, with the hip hop that we were listening to, we were getting politically engaged. We were getting pride of who we are. The rappers that were touring around the country, you had Public Enemy touring around the country. You had Public Enemy on the radio. You had KRS, you had X-Clan, you had people that had a positive, good, unifying message. Even on the West Coast, you had Paris, Conscious Sisters. We had, we had a good balance. We still had some of the ruckus. We had some of the, the player shit. We had some of the gangster shit, but it was in balance. You would have NWA touring with Boogie Down Productions, with Run DMC. We had a good balance. Then what happened after Pac was killed? All of a sudden it was get money, bitches, this, it got saturated with the bullshit. Now look what we got. Every female rapper you see right now has to be shaking her ass and getting naked and talking about WAP and sucking dick. And listen, I don't care what you listen to. It don't matter. I'm just saying, just look at the game. Now it's homosexuality being pushed. It's things that they know breaks down our family structure and breaks down the ability and potential of resistance and being politically empowered. That's now the go-to. KRS-One is still making bomb-ass music right now. You ain't heard it. But you got these cats talking about drugs, sex, kill niggas, I'm doing crimes, getting spin, getting airtime all day, every day. And they don't get any smoke. But somebody who speaks up for our people gets smoke. It's the same program. So I don't know how Moorish World TV got their channel taken down. And like I said, it ain't even just about Taharka Bay as much as the fact that we have people, kind of like this hard cold, I'm assuming, who will look at black and white paperwork of this dude being a sex offender on the record. It's not like you have to figure it out. It says plain and simple, registered and or lifetime sex offender. Yes. There's nothing to talk about after that. There ain't no like you misread the shit. It's right there. So when someone can look at that and say, oh, it's okay, it was a long time ago, or you just don't know how to read it, or hey, look the other way and permit that shit, understand it ain't just about him. It's that those people represent people that are really living next to us in our communities. People that's looking at that kind of shit and can still celebrate, make excuses for, look the other way, or support that bullshit are the same ones. Some of them are women. Those are the same ones that when a child comes to their mother and say, hey, your boyfriend is touching me when you're gone. Instead of confronting that, they'll get mad. You trying to take my man, or you're lying. Fuck what you're talking about. Whoop-de-woo. I know this happens because I've heard about it. Unfortunately, if you're a grown man at this point, you've probably dated. And I don't want to listen. I don't want to have a trigger warning for any sisters out here listening to this. Please don't think that I'm trying to like trigger or bring up anything that might be hurtful. I just have to tell the truth. This is what it is. This is what I've experienced. If you're a grown man, it's likely you have dated a woman who has been a victim of some type of sexual misconduct. Unfortunately, the numbers bear out that reality. I know I have. I know, being in relationships where women were comfortable enough to tell me certain things. I've heard things. I've heard that, stories about how mothers caught people touching their child and didn't do anything about it, made excuses because they didn't want to ruin that relationship or blame the victim. It happens. And who are these type of people who are doing that? The same ones that can look the other way. That's why I say it ain't even just about Taharka Bey and that bullshit, his bullshit. We can clearly see who he is, but we need to understand that for everyone who could let that shit ride and allow that shit to fester and make excuses for it and be more mad at Tariq Nasheed for making a song than for this cat who has sex offender on their fucking record, who has beaten women and children on their record. But you're going to call other people scammers when you have scammed the people more so than anyone who you're calling out. It's the hypocrisy. You see, when this information first came out, and I was probably one of the first ones to bring it out, I'm going to go ahead and pat myself on the back for that, but my platform ain't that big. So what happened is I couldn't do enough to push the issue to make him really respond. So he would take little shots, subliminal shots, without having to really address what was happening until Sarnetta picked it up. Then he had to start explaining shit. A little bit later, Tariq picked it up. You see, he understood that he had more of a pull because he had a bigger audience, so he was playing that game. So however he had his channel taken down, I don't really know. But what I do know is this, and I want to applaud all the FBA. I want to applaud everybody that's B1. I want to applaud everybody on the smaller grassroots, even smaller channels, those of us collectively, because that's how we really move things, from the grassroots. So those of us that was getting on that ain't accepting the fact that we have somebody trying to represent us while they're tearing down our people, but they have atrocious convictions on their record. I was watching some of this, I don't know if I already said this part, but I was watching Taharka Bey yesterday when he was live. And this dude had the nerves. Remember, this is somebody who's listen, you don't get on the sex offense registry unless you're convicted. Understand that. You can't just get on there because you've been accused or allegedly or charged. You have to be convicted. So imagine somebody who's a convicted, documented sex offender pointing the finger at somebody else for having driving with license suspended on their record and make it seem like that's the worst thing ever. Imagine somebody who's making shit up out of thin air. He didn't came out with like 5 different names for Tariq Nasheed at this point. He's an FBA, he's not FBA, he's this, that, woo. He's a murderer. He was charged with murder and all this goofy shit that he's just pulling out of thin air. But he'll try to convince you that what you're reading in black and white with his signature on it isn't true somehow. And there's enough dummies that will believe it, but guess what? There's enough people who don't care. Remember, a lot of people been hitting me up, giving me certain information about dude. And a lot of his supporters also are convicted rapists. Let's keep it a buck. I dare somebody to call me out on this. Taharka, I know you're listening. Call me out on this. Tell me that your homeboy, your best friend, who you still fuck with, Adrian, wasn't convicted of gang raping, a 14-year-old. Tell me that. Tell me that your boy Charles ain't a convicted rapist. It's not a coincidence that Taharka Bey never went against Polite. Even after you raised money saying you're going to go to his trial, you never went. You haven't been speaking about him. Like, of all the different people that you can expose on your channel, you ain't exposing somebody who's right now being charged and going to trial for sexually assaulting a 14-year-old. You ain't got no smoke for that. You ain't got no smoke for Nature Boy. You ain't got no smoke for like the ones that are really doing fucked up shit. No smoke for none of that. But I get it. But you got smoke for Sisters of the Underground, an organization of ladies, women, sisters who teams up with organizations like PANSOC. You have a problem with them, and they literally rescue DV victims and sex trafficked women. But you have a problem with them. I guess why wouldn't you when you're a sex offender and woman abuser? Of course, because they're rescuing women from people like you. So it makes sense. Like, who sent you then? If you ain't an agent, who sent you? Like I said, I don't want to throw that word around loosely, but if you're not, who the fuck sent you? Or what about seeing black people get codified and starting to make progress makes you so upset? Let me see what some of these people are saying up on here, man. Make sure y'all like this, man. So here we go. Let's go. Let's get back to this. I'm sure detractor. He says, I hope that you're not trying to say whoop-de-whoop, buzzy-blah. Hold up. Shabaka, unity and organization is based on principle, not micro nationalism. The FBA and ADOS are just that. Back to this Harold Cole. What Nasheed has done for blacks, when you will have your answer. Who he sleeps with is in action. I don't care who he sleeps with, though. That's the whole thing. What does it matter? I'm not in his bedroom. Feel me? But you said, what has he done for blacks? I mean, like, look, what have you done? What has Taharka done? I'll tell you what he's done, though. Like, I'll tell you, like, how I've been able to appreciate some of this stuff. Let me tell you a little bit about like what I've been able to appreciate. Because, you know, I have a history of activism. So when those hidden colors came out, that made a very easy conversation to engage these youth with a nice little package of what they can learn about their history that empowered them. Because the only thing they've been taught in those schools is you were a slave, then we freed you. Martin Luther King, Malcolm X. That's it. So that's what he did. I know I showed 1804 to a group of youth on a few different occasions and had conversations under. You can see one of the videos is on this channel. So, I mean, bringing forth documented history that invokes pride in our people, that gives a better narrative than we were just slaves. And that's a positive thing. Codifying people under the understanding that, hey, we are a distinct group, that, you know, we do have to be able to handle our business and get codified, and we have to have a focused agenda, because we don't have that. The new black media is the only thing we really got for proper narrative and information and direction and news. That's how we can neutralize certain things. The new black media, I'm not just talking about the Tariq Nasheeds and the Professor Black Truth. Those are bigger platforms for new black media, but even you tweeting stuff, even us sharing in, you know, smaller block top channels. See, this is why we've been able to get the needle moved. Some of these police that have been charged and convicted, they would have went away if we relied on the mainstream media to cover those stories. Even Shaquilla Robinson's mother said, thanks to Black Twitter, the story didn't get buried. She's saying Black Twitter, but really it ain't just Black Twitter. It's Black Twitter is part of black media. So it's new black codified media. We can connect with people. We can leverage technology in a way we couldn't have before. So that, I mean, those are good things. Those are positive things. He bought a tangible, with the collective help of the people, museum, so that we can have preservation of our history, because, you know, they're whitewashing history. They don't want to teach about slavery no more. They don't want to teach us about the black inventors. They want to teach us that, you know, all the greatest people that founded America and contributed has never been us. So preservation of our true history and culture, that's a positive thing. You can say what you want about the rally for reparations, but the fact that all the new black media, all of us have been on this reparations tips for a few years now, is why there was a Senate hearing about reparations, even though it was trash, even though they infiltrated with some LGBT tethers. But the fact that that they know that they have to address this is a positive. The fact that our people are now understanding that we can't just give our votes blindly to people who ain't doing nothing for us, that's a positive. It's a solidification process that's going on. Those are positive things. Those are things that are contributions to our movement and to our cause and to our agenda. Listen, I don't have to agree with somebody 100%. So I don't agree with Tariq 100%. I don't agree with nobody 100%. But I can't dismiss the fact when people are sincerely doing things and actually getting results. I don't agree with Martin Luther King in all of his ways or his religion. But if he was galvanizing people under the belief system of a dead cracker on a stick, no disrespect to any of my Christians out there, I'm just saying, if he used that, and if the people who believed in Jesus Christ believed in him enough that they got off their asses and in the streets to really do some things, I gotta salute that. Period. Because actions at the end of the day is that's the only thing that's gonna bring tangible solution. So if you think that there's a lack in this process, then you show us your contributions, or you come with your solutions. It ain't about making one person a leader. This is a decentralized movement, meaning that it's all of us collectively. If they neutralize one organization or one individual, we keep moving, because that's the meaning of we're led by the code. We're led by the code. Now, if you're in the crypto and blockchain, you understand how deep that really is. But the code guides us. The understanding and the agenda and the overall, not the method, but the objective. That's what we're led by. That means that no matter who they take out, if all of us collectively understand what we're doing, we don't have to go the exact same route. There's more than one way to drive from Seattle to New York. There's different ways. We have different skills, different talents, different passions, different ways that we can contribute. So when we have to understand also how to neutralize our enemies, neutralize those that's coming against us. So yeah, the fact that somebody that's been an agent going against us for the past 7-8 years, someone who started their channel after catching a case that should have put them in prison, that's suspect. He himself said, hey, COINTELPRO don't get paid that much, but they're allowed to commit crimes. And you look at his record, and it's crime after crime that he didn't do time. But what he does do is have the time to go against all of us who are doing anything, go against our movement, and then offers no solutions. Calling people scammers, yet he didn't raise money several times for things that he hasn't even materialized once. And let me just say this for the record, because I know he's trying to raise money now to sue Tariq Nasheed. I could promise you he is not going to sue. He's going to raise the money and then make an excuse why he can't do it. Why? Because he has no grounds. You can't sue someone for bringing public record out. You can't. This stuff is public record. The courts are public for a reason. Taxpayers' money is public. It's for the public. So if somebody gets charged with something, convicted of something that's on their court records, that's public. You can't sue someone, even if they blast it out on the internet. Let's see what else we got. What is it done? Blah, blah, blah. My brother Jesse Paris for Denver mayor. He said, at Cold, answer my question first. Right, we had balance before 1996. That's a fact. And I ain't mad at these youngsters. Do what you do, man. Get your money. But I'm just saying, it's not a coincidence that you can't get on, that it's harder to make any type of waves in the music industry, that people like Lauryn Hill can't get any airplay. But Nicki Minaj, no disrespect, she's a dope artist. I'm just saying, like, do we need to oversaturate with that? I don't want to get to that right now. Anyway, so once you answer mine, whatever. So that's what I'm saying. Like, cats like this, hard, cold, that's just distraction shit. You know what I'm saying? He wants to say you got to answer mine, this and that. He's just throwing things in there because he's probably a Taharka Bay fan if he's not Taharka Bay himself. All right. So Ricky Kelly said, yes, I just saw a great film, The Holly, yesterday. As a matter of fact, Ricky Kelly has a dope film as well. Shout out to you, bro. Salute. Let me see. I can read all that. Cowardly and fearful to remove his channel. If he is wrong, take him to court. I don't know how his channel got taken down. I don't know. I mean, I know I do believe Tariq Nasheed struck his channel for copyright shit. But let's not forget though how this whole thing started though. See, you Taharka Bay fans are you guys are a peculiar group of people. You guys are a very special brand of off brands because it's like, first of all, you believe a cat who has no proof about what he's saying, but you don't believe the proof, the black and white that you've seen about this dude. Right there, that's suspect right there. Like, this is why I say we have to understand. I'm glad you're making yourself known on this because the reason why we have to know what type of motherfuckers would support a documented sex offender because they live in our communities. And we don't need them to try to double back later and act like they're down with the movement. After being willing to look the other way towards this type of shit. Because if you think about it, the shit that Taharka Bay on Moorish World TV has accused people of doing, the accusations he's made about people ain't even as bad as what's really on his record. Think about that. When you could throw stones from a glass house and the stones you're throwing and the accusations you're making aren't even nearly as bad as what you have really done. He actually brought out some driving with suspended license. as a way to undermine and character assassinate somebody. Driving with suspended license, and this dude is a whole sex offender. The fucking audacity. So when you see these clowns that's going to make these excuses and stick up for them, just remember they're cut from the same cloth. So I'm glad that these little snakes is coming out the grass and making themselves known. What else we got? Shabaka, don't take him to European court, prove him wrong. And matter of fact, and that's the whole thing. Like, so this dude, back to what I was saying though, Taharka Bay, Moorish World TV. See, what he does is he'll try to pretend he's just asking questions and he'll try to get that audience. He did this with the NOI, he did this with all the Panther formations, he does it with everybody. He did that with the FBA. I'm just asking some questions. I just want to know. I just thinking, hey, FBA, come and tell me, because he's trying to get that audience. Come and tell me what FBA is all about. Who's the leader, this and that, probing him and all that. Then he starts trolling and moving more and more disrespectfully. Then Tariq Nasheed said, hey, man, it's all good, bro. Just leave it alone. I'm warning you, just you know what I'm saying? Because he already knew what was coming. So he was like, hey, just leave it alone. Just leave me alone. Don't come with the bullshit. And what Taharka Bay say? Oh, you can't. Oh, when you warn me, you know I ain't stopping now. And then he really let himself be known of what he was really doing. So he was warned that, hey, just leave it alone. You know what I'm saying? Like, don't come after me like that. You bitch ass nickel. But Taharka wanted to smoke because he knew that would bring his numbers up. Because he knew if to get in a battle with somebody who has a much 10 times the subscriber base, he's thinking he's gonna be able to peel some of those subscribers and get some views and get some clicks for his channel. I get it. Clout chasing is something that we do on the internet, something that we do, you know what I'm saying, especially with smaller channels. I come with the bullshit too sometimes. I'm not gonna lie. It is what it is. We troll sometimes. But he was told, like, yo, just leave it alone. Leave me alone. Don't do this. You don't want to do this, is what he's told. That's what Taharka Bay was told. And he wanted to smoke. So then when the smoke got too hot, now all of a sudden he wants to sue, even though he has no grounds to sue. That's just a money grab. All of a sudden he wants to get his feelings hurt. And all of a sudden now he wants to attack and he wants to call people murderers and all this crazy shit. But he's the one that wanted to smoke. He couldn't handle it. He got taken out the game. Whoever took him out the game. I don't know if it was Tariq Nasheed. I know he probably struck his channel. I mean, but think about it. This dude has been going against people, making accusations for the last 7 years. His channel should have been taken down. He does everything that he accuses other people of doing. He says it's not right to bring up his family. He brings up people's family. You said it's not right to bring up his baby's mom. That's not fair. It's not respectful, especially now that one of them is deceased. But this nigga was throwing soiled baby wipes in her face and beating the shit out of her. Don't act like you respect her. When she was alive, you was beating her ass. It's cap. What I'm saying. What else we got? So yeah, it is what it is. You said it's cowardly and fearful to remove a channel, but it's not cowardly to say I'm gonna sue you now because you're getting the best of me. That's what I'm saying. Like, you gotta watch these type of niggas, is what I'm saying. See, because the things that they'll accuse other people are doing won't even be nearly as egregious as the things that they do and or support. That's called gaslighting. That's what bitches do. Let's keep it a buck. Ricky Kelly said, Parrish, it was a documentary, and the brother Terrence was definitely real. This is no neighborhood. It's saying, okay, Truth is saying buying subs and YouTube clipped him. Huh. We do know that he was buying subs, because I think the Research Ninja, Exposing to Harker Bay YouTube channel, she brought that out. Yeah, he was buying subs, he was buying views. We know that. That's pretty obvious. Shabaka says revolution is a battle of ideology. Hold on, can I make this where I can put those things on? Oh, damn, I can't. Look at that. Revolution is a battle of ideology and correctness. Let them battle, and the truth shall prevail. The truth has prevailed. I mean, it has. Like one person we can look at and say that they've done great contributions, media-wise, if nothing else. The other one hasn't contributed a damn thing. Like notice how there's no organizations or individuals or anybody of respect that fucks with Taharka Bay. Just think about that. Think about that. I mean, the only resume that Taharka Bay has is, and this is documented paperwork, is being a sex offender, beating women, beating his children, robbing women at pizza shops, robbing women at liquor stores. Like, his victims are almost always women, breaking and entering, snitching on his co-defendants. Like, this is his resume. But he doesn't have a resume of, oh man, yeah, he works in the community doing that. He doesn't have none of that. All he has is doing destruction to the community. So yeah, weigh it out. The truth has already prevailed. Now he's just getting aired out. Now we're just getting the fuck out the game, which is what he should have been a long time ago. And that should be how we handle all detractors. We should always handle detractors by getting them the fuck out the game. Because if we don't, then they build up and they have fuck niggas like dude that's on here right now, that's making excuses, pointing fingers, and don't know what the fuck they're talking about. And we allow them to continue to chip and go against our endeavors because they can't send someone who don't look like us. See, if it was a white dude that was doing what Taharka Bay does, we would have easily identified that as an operative. We would easily see that as exactly what it is. But since he cloaks himself in Moorishness and puts the noble Drew Ali behind him and has melanated skin, it's not as easy to detect. See, if it was Fox News saying that, we would easily identify that they're just hating because these are black organizations. And it would probably have the reversed effect. But he's neutralizing or trying to neutralize something that's been gaining momentum, and that's us being on code, us putting in work in our communities, which is something that we need, even if you don't agree. There's people I had to work with for real, in the streets with activism, and I thought they was assholes. I thought that lady, she's a bitch, but hey, she's real about what she's doing. I have to fuck with her because she, we're doing this and that. I don't like these individuals as people sometimes, but they're sincerely doing things. And because sometimes we're depleted for those of us putting in that kind of work, we have to work together. I have to respect, even if I don't like. period. It ain't about just liking someone's personality all the time. It's about what we know it needs to be done in our communities. This person is doing it, even if I don't like him. I've had fallouts with people. Hey, we might not be friends anymore. We might not be cool anymore, but we still had to come together and have a conversation about, hey, there ain't enough of us out here doing this for us not to work together. Period. That's man shit. That's nation building shit. What else we got? Truth and another baby on the way. You talking about Archibald? Google, who's this big Bo? Google hard court conviction papers or Google search versus hard court conviction papers. Okay. We got Slim Trucker says they both seem suspicious. Hey, like I said, that's cool. Everybody can have their opinion. All I'm saying is me personally. Oh, hold up. I'm just saying me personally, I haven't seen, and I know that some people don't like Tariq. There's a lot of haters. All I'm saying is I haven't seen anything that would make me think that he's going against us as a people. That's what I'm saying. I'm saying when you look at Taharka Bey, he obviously has a problem with black people because he only attacks black people and black organizations obsessively. He never says, oh man, look at that Dylan Roof. What he does, like when that shooting went down in Buffalo, he didn't even go against the shooter. He said that it was our fault, black people's fault. He made that a reason to attack our organizations and individuals. I'm just saying, when that cop shot 60 people or shot that brother 60 times, that unarmed brother, I forgot where it was. I want to say the Midwest. When he shot that brother, when those police unloaded 60 shots on an unarmed man, Taharka Bey made a video disrespecting black organizations, and he didn't say nothing about the police. Cut it out. He obviously hates our people. Why would he be a spokesperson for our people if he doesn't even like our people? He's never made a video at all giving props. Like, if you don't like all of these different organizations, is there any organization that you like that you can give some light to? Nothing? Or you don't have any other alternative ways? All you're doing is destroying. You're not building anything. You're just destroying. So when you weigh them out, okay, you have one person that's making positive media about us, that's organizing several different times to codify us towards an agenda of reparations, that bought a tangible building in order to house our relics and things that we're losing the narrative on, which is our history preservation, because most of our museums, they're ran by small hats, white folks. So now we actually have one. We have more than one, but you know what I'm saying? So you weigh those two different things, and who's the one that looks like they're against us? Who's the one that's actually an asset to us? We got to keep it real, whether you like them or not. That doesn't matter. Taharka Bey is the one that's an agent, if anything. Shout out to Mars. What's up? Exactly. So we have to be able to identify those who come against us and neutralize them. You know he's going to be back. He's going to definitely revamp and come back with a channel. He probably has a backup channel already. But let's let this be a lesson and something that we can build momentum off of, because it ain't just him. It ain't just his detractors. There's plenty of people out there that just build platforms on nothing but disrespecting and misleading us. That's what I'm saying. Like these days, you don't have to do too much, like real, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's not hard to detect because people are coming out their shells now. People are letting it be known. People are letting it be known where they're at right now because they feel comfortable doing so, because now you can hide behind the internet. Now you can be whoever you want through an avatar. Now you could just watch one DVD and think you got the lingo, and now you're sitting there trying to teach or lead people. That's what's going on now. Now nobody's doing checks. See, now it's easy to identify because no one's really hiding it too much. All you have to do is look at what their work is. Look at just check their resume. Okay, so you have Moorish World TV with a resume for the past 5, 6, 7 or so years, only making material against our people. That's it. Like, how do you not see that? And anyone who can identify that at this point, they're just as much as a detriment. Anyone who can make excuses for that at this point, it don't matter. The effect is the same. You're a detriment. It's 2023 nearly. We don't have time to try to wake people up. We ain't got time to try to nudge people over to our side. The sides have been chosen at this point. We ain't got time for all that going back to save people. We already got exactly what we need. All we have to do is unify, solidify. That's it. Organize. Keep pushing the direction. Keep doing what we're doing. That's it. Those who's supposed to fuck with us will fuck with us. Everybody ain't going to make it. That's just the hard facts. You got to be able to accept that. Everybody ain't going to make it. Everybody ain't really with us. Everybody ain't going to be good for us. Some people are going to be a detriment. Some people really just got to go. That's where we're at right now. We run out of time for the bullshit. You know what they do in other communities when you go against them? They get you out of here. You want to know why Rittenhouse got away with killing those folks in that protest? Because the people he killed were deemed to be going off code to the white supremacists. They're out there protesting on our behalf because the police killed one of ours. So just them being out there protesting to the white supremacists, to the whiteism, they was already in the wrong for that. So they're nigger lovers. That's why they were able to be killed and he got away with it. You think if he would have been at a Trump rally or alt-right rally, he could have done that and got away with it? Hell no. Back in the days in Mississippi, they killed 2 white boys with a brother because they was registering to vote and they seen that as something that could be empowering to our people. And they were on code and they don't allow you to go against the grain. Bruce Lee allegedly was killed because he was teaching the secrets of martial arts to outsiders. See, other communities, they deal with their traitors, and the penalty of treachery or being a traitor is death. We make excuses for our traitors. We're calling Kanye West a genius because he said some shit that we already knew. And we're making excuses for the White Lives Matter. We're making excuses for the slavery was a choice. We're making excuses for the wearing Confederate flags. We're making excuses for George Floyd died of fentanyl because he's a musical genius. So we're letting that shit slide. He's teaming up with alt-right racists against us. And we're letting it slide. But no one else will let that shit slide when you go against. Jewish people ain't gonna let any of their own people go against them. We let the bullshit slide and we gotta cut that out. I'm not trying to make this about Kanye. I know a lot of people, whatever. But I'm just saying, like the moves that he's making are going against us. Because once you allow it to happen once, twice, thrice, hey. See, now we're in a position because of technology and because of the codification that we now have that we can actually move the needle on things. We actually collectively have the power from a grassroots level to move the needles in politics, economics, education. We can move the needle now in a way that we couldn't before. Or we could before, but it really took the actual mobilization. Now we could push the needle better than ever. We can connect. in ways that we never could. So it's our responsibility to take advantage of these kind of situations. All the freedom fighters that we love from the 1800s to now, they couldn't do anything else. Nat Turner had no other choice. He couldn't organize and say, we're going to boycott and we're going to spend our money together with ourselves and we're going to vote our way to freedom. He couldn't do that. It was freedom or death. That's it. Freedom fighters that gave their life for the future, knowing that they weren't going to make it. They didn't have no choice. They couldn't just get on Twitter and, hey, let's have a meeting, y'all. They couldn't just pull their money together and say, let's bank black. Hey, they're saying this bullshit about us, but we have our own mechanism. They didn't have that. They couldn't control the narrative like we can. So we can't allow these fuck niggas to misrepresent us. We have to neutralize them in the best ways that we can, and we have the ability to do that like never before. That's what New Black Media is. New Black Media isn't just a couple platforms. It's all of us collectively. You want to know why some of these superstars, these movie stars, these celebrities start speaking out and saying certain things? See, we're not supposed to be following them. When you see some of these celebrities waking up, they're waking up. Why? Because they're hearing it from the grassroots. Because their little brother has Twitter. Their cousins have YouTube. Their kids are on Facebook. They're on Instagram. They're seeing collectively the stuff that we're speaking about and the things that we're teaching in some of the documentaries. And they're seeing this. They're learning about this. So sometimes they're going to get it twisted and they're going to say some bullshit that because they ain't really worked out the fact from fiction 100%, but they're signal boosting what we're saying. They're learning it from the grassroots. Change doesn't start from the top down. Let me see what else we got. Okay, brother Neil Bay, what's up? Peace. Mars in the building. Mars the Martian. Let's get some economic freedom. See, we have leverages that we've never had before. I appreciate you for that share, by the way. Appreciate that. Excuses for everything. Noble Drew Ali said excuses are out the door in 1928. That's almost 100 years ago. And we are still using excuses. Your numbers are going up, bro. Keep speaking the truth. Look, I know one thing. I know that there's enough people out here that can learn something or at least get confirmation. Because I know like when you have certain ideas or certain beliefs or certain things that you want to learn, sometimes it takes confirmation. Especially like when you're first starting to kind of get oriented towards this goal and this agenda, or maybe you don't know what you can contribute. But everybody, like I said, everybody has their own talents, gifts, passions, ways that they can contribute to what we're doing. But at this point, like it's like someone's either with us or against us. There's no in between. There ain't no straddling the fence. There ain't no gray area at this point. I don't want it to make this too long, man. I might do a little hold up. I might do a little something later just to show a visual presentation. But I really just want to salute the efforts of those, because I noticed, like, listen, it was me and a couple other people, Onslaught Multimedia, Explosion to Harker Bay, and a couple other small channels that really started bringing forth this information about the sex offender, about all this stuff that this dude was doing. And we really didn't have too much momentum. But then collectively, even with the small numbers, people started doing what they should do, right? Banging in these YouTube streets, holding people accountable, asking the proper questions, pushing back towards those who are going against us. And it just grew organically because people real recognize real, man. Real recognize real. That's just a fact. But there's going to be some that will just never accept it. I'm not even trying to talk to them. Some people will just excuse anything. Some people have no kind of morals, or they can't stand on nothing. Some people can see this person is a sex offender and make excuses. Oh, that was a long time ago. GS, don't worry about it. Okay. Like, those are the ones that's in your community that's allowing pedophiles to run around rampant because they don't want to address it. Because they're going to excuse it. They may not themselves be pedophiles, but they'll give them enough breathing room to operate. And then we get damaged fruit out of that. Then you wonder why some of these young brothers is growing up getting into gangbanging and other self-destructive activities, because who knows what they went through? Who knows the kind of trauma they went through? They could have went through the same type of trauma that Taharka Bey put his children through with the abuse. They might have went through the same, you know what I'm saying? So we can't act like we're so woke and we want to do all this good stuff, but we're allowing the fuckery. Like, you'd be better off just not saying shit than to make an excuse for a piece of shit. And that's why I'm saying it's just as important as we flame and we take down all these suckers, all these mouthpieces that don't really represent us and that go against us, but it's just as important to identify those who support them. You know, for a long time, we've had a bad habit of not supporting those, the real ones, but throwing support over the fuckery. The young pharaohs. I mean, I don't want to go on no rant about all these different people, but you know what I'm talking about. How it's easy for some of these, it's easy for some of these sloppy, goofy, detrimental to the cause Negroes to build because we like the bullshit, but then we don't support the real. And we're starting to reverse that now. See, now we're starting to get codified in a way that we're supporting the way we're supposed to support. Yes, we know that there's YouTube algorithms that suppress certain messages. My last channel I taken down when I got to about 10,000 subscribers. But before then, they was already taking down videos because there's algorithms. You name your video a certain thing. Even if you say certain things, those buzzwords get picked up and it will suppress. Shadow banning is real. I've been shadow banned on almost every platform. So that's a real thing, but we can still beat that algorithm. That's why people say like the video, comment, share it. See, we're starting to get on a codification that is actually scaring the dominant society. It's starting to actually scare those. So the first line of defense that they send on us is always going to be our own. That's what the Roland Martins and these Stephen A. Smiths and all these other coonery, these coon ass niggas. They're supposed to neutralize us, the Taharka Beys. They're supposed to neutralize us. They're supposed to say things that white folks can't say because we would easily and quickly identify it as racism and we wouldn't pay no attention. We'd automatically know, oh, okay, they're trying to neutralize our shit. So they send one of ours to do it. They send a Stephen A. Smith, oh, I love Jerry Jones. That was a long time ago. That's that same type of bitch nigga energy. Oh, Jerry Jones, rah, rah, rah. Long time ago. We don't know if he was there for, you know what the fuck he was there for. You know what I'm saying? And then it bared out in the rest of his career. See, that's a tactic that's so, we see what it is. So now as we start to get codified, as we start to get solidified, as we start actually supporting the right ones, see, we're the ones that's been making this shit move. Any type of little justice, hey, that 2020, all those I won't call them riots, rebellions, and what all came out of that. We didn't really sustain that as long as we should have. We didn't get as much out of it as we could have. But it was a good exercise in codification. It was a good exercise in getting more politically active and refining our political strategies and refining our ability to push the needle on certain things. Because people ain't really watching the news like they used to. They're on the internet now for information, which is a good and a bad thing because a lot of misinformation, a lot of pseudo information. But at this point, you got to be a critical thinker. You got to be able to look at things both sides, weigh it out, be able to even take in information contrary to what you believe, process it, and if necessary, adjust your stance on things based on the facts. When you can do that, you are powerful. When you can say, hey, I was wrong, my bad, let me readjust. That's powerful. That's growth. That's development. When you're researching something, don't research it subjectively. Research it for the real answer. Don't research it just to confirm what you already believe. These are just small little things that really mean a lot. These are the kind of things that allow us to get on the same page. We can disagree about things. We can have different opinions about things. We can have different ways that we live our life, as far as you might be Muslim, you're Christian, you're Israelite, you whatever, voodoo, whatever you do. But at the end of the day, we have to see the big picture. Because when you see the big picture, you don't allow the small things to divert you from what you're trying to do and where you're trying to go. I didn't want to make this long. I think I've been long enough. Let me go ahead and shut this down. Let me see what some of the good brothers and sisters are saying out here. R. Crawley, speaking out, my brother. I enjoy the content. Appreciate you. Big Bo said that's NYC and Cali got reparations with numbers on the table. Yeah, that's right. I think Cali, they talking about like what, a couple 100,000? But I don't know what they're talking about in New York. But that's positive. See, and that's what I'm talking about. Like, do you think that they was just going to bring out some reparations on their own? You think out of the kindness of their heart, they started bringing out reparations and having discussions? We didn't move that needle. We don't need none of that extra fancy shit they've been saying. They moved the needle. We didn't move the needle. We don't got to do all that extra shit. People are saying we got to change our nationality and we got to get a division of monetary. No, we don't. They know who we are. That's number one. That's not hard to establish. Shit, they hand out the stimulus, direct deposit, Cash App it, just write the check. We're going to pick it up. It's that easy, man. This is 2022, 2023 almost. We can move the needle on this. Like, these immigrants don't have to come in and do all that extra shit. Nah, we're not going to complicate it. All we have to do is push and let us know. And when it comes to really doing whatever you want to call it, litigations and political things, we already have people that could do that. We have ambassadors that could speak on our behalf. Dr. Clyde Anderson's, Cynthia McKinney. She used to be in the House of Representatives. We have everything in place. So right now, all we're doing is we're letting them know, to the point to where, yes, now New York, talking reparations. Yeah, now California, talking reparations, talking numbers already. I mean, this is how we can move it. Like, this is real life, man. What else we got? These are social media friends that they want a friend. They're in Germany or out of the States. Oh, those are? I don't know who those are. Who those are you speaking of? Nevertheless. Yeah. Big Bo said we got reparations on the table, man. They didn't do that at the kindness of their heart. They did that because they understand, especially generations moving forward, we're done. And here's the whole thing about the reparations, man. Even if they're going to say no, let's make them say no right now. We didn't got another 50 years to wait for this shit. Make them say it right now. And then if they do, we could pull back and we could figure out a whole new strategy. We know what's going to happen off rip. We know there's going to be some collateral damage for the no. But then, fuck it, let us know right now. Then we can start pulling out. We got everything we need. We got black banks. We got black businesses. Let's pull out. I'm just saying. That's where we at with it. Anybody subscribe if you haven't already, y'all. Like it. Look, listen, I'm not gonna just keep on talking about this dark debate, dude. There's way more teaching and narrative and content and context that we need to be on than just that. But I do appreciate y'all pulling up. And hopefully, and if anybody else that wants to teach something, that want to use the platform to get a message out, to have different discussions, to chop it up, I'm all for it. But shout out to the FBA, shout out to the family. Continue to stay on code, continue to push the throttle, continue to headhunt those who are against us. That's the energy that we need. Be one. Wow.